it looks like we are ready to go, so we are going to be jumping right in onto Frost.
Them animations. So much love to Game Heart. This is the first time we've actually been able to use it because the map pool is supported, and as you know, I mean, in Reddit, there's been quite a successful funding campaign for the new version of Game Heart. Excited to see what comes out of that. But as we jump into this game on Frost, it is going to be in the upper left-hand corner. He is wearing the pink accenting paint on his command center and trunks on his SCVs. His name is HBOL.
And in the bottom right-hand corner, taking game 1 with tanks and all sorts of goodies, it is Yoshi. I really wish that I could make like a Yoshi noise.
I totally forgot what noise Yoshi even makes.
I'm not even going to attempt it because I'm going to embarrass myself.
Go ahead.
I do. I'm not going to do it, no. So,
go ahead.
That's all right. We do have supply depots going down. Can you believe that kind of play?
Oh my gosh. Really?
Craziness from these players.
You know, they should remove the dependency of barracks for supply depots.
Why is that?
Nothing like a 10 barracks proxy in your base.
That seems like a terrible idea.
I'm pretty sure it's impossible anyway. But we do have supply depots and barracks going down. The barracks of HBOL is slightly faster than, well, actually it's a lot faster. Well, so let's go slightly faster than Yoshi. Yeah. Both players going barracks first. We did see some expands in the first game.
And it looks like HBOL in the first game was getting a little bit more tech structure right away, while Yoshi was kind of getting just a few different things, but making a decent amount of them, playing a little bit more conservatively. So we'll see if we see similar stuff coming out of them this game. And, you know, frankly, if I was HBOL in this game, I'd really be thinking about trying to do something a little bit more deviant than just Marine Medevac. They have their place, they are good, but, you know, it's just he didn't have the unit composition to really effectively deal with what was on the field in that last game, and if he wants to have a shot at coming back and not dropping a second game and losing 2-0, he's going to have to do something a little bit variant.
I think he's reading your mind, because we got a second barracks coming down in a sort of back-hidden area, so maybe potentially definitely out of scan range for that typical base scan, or any Marines or Reapers popping up the main area there. I mean, there's really no area for Reapers to get out back here, so it would be pretty risky for a Reaper to venture back there. So maybe HBOL is going to be having some quick aggression coming out as he is making a Reaper of his own. Looks like we got Marines to start out the day for Yoshi. And man, I swear to God, the training of, I mean, they never get to stand around.
Yeah, Yoshi likes to keep those Marines moving, and why not? You know, if they're moving around, you're getting a little bit more of, vision coverage and making sure that things aren't going in weird directions.
You know, that would be a pretty interesting metric if you could earn a, say, attack or armor upgrade by just doing exercise.
Oh my goodness, you just want to completely change this game. 10 barracks and run the Marines around to get experience and level up, and oh my goodness. Sounds like you want to play Dota.
No. SCV taking the tower down here. This is a really large map, so I mean the Reaper's going to be taking quite the ideal path down here to check out his opponent. There has been some scout aroundery at the lower left base and the upper right, but I don't think that either player has been seen yet. No, in fact he has not.
And HBOL has 2 Reapers just kind of hanging out back at home. He's getting this 1 Reaper in trying to see what's going on, but he is making a decent number of Reapers here. There's 2 more coming out at the moment. So he's definitely making a few more Reapers than you normally see, but that could prove to be effective here, as there are lots of cliffs for him to hop up and down on.
Yeah, I mean, there's 3 Reapers just kind of hanging out here, and he's making 2 at a time from these barracks. And now he's putting down a command center of his own, seeing that his opponent is putting down a command center as well. Yoshi putting down a Pulsar factory coming out of somebody. All right, yeah, factory is completed. Switching with the reactor to make a Hellion and a mine at the same time. Potentially.
That's what we saw last time. 4 Reapers are making their way across the map now to meet up with the one that is currently hanging out.
Yep, and the Marines actually getting in a pretty good position here to stop the Reapers depending on which angle they come in at. I mean, I'm curious to see what he can get done with these 5 Reapers here with a certain amount of micro. I mean, there are a lot of Marines here, but they don't have the upgrades yet, and the upgrades honestly haven't even been started. And he's going to be switching that that starport with the tech lab to get some Banshees out, but he's going to see that as he runs in and, oh, he doesn't. He just now gets an SCV kill, but is hindering the gas mining. One more SCV does go down, putting down a tower? All right, missile turret. Missile turret for detection, thinking there may be some mines coming, but Yoshi does have a mine of his own here, so the Reapers will not be able to come up that way once again. But he does get all 5 of those out, gets a good scout out, and I'm pretty sure he knows that there's going to be some...
Oh my gosh, the SCVs of Roshi are just now going back to mine, so they were pulled off mining for a decent amount of time there.
Yeah.
Banshee is in production, and now the cloaking field is being researched, and engineering bay is about halfway done for HBOL, so he did get the scout, he got the message, he knows what's coming his way.
Yeah, and that's going to be a really, I mean, it seems pretty obvious to say it's going to be good for him.
Yeah.
But, you know, now he's going to move back in here and get a couple more pot shots off, but he's going to run away, just making sure that, you know, it didn't actually switch techs, but he comes in, sees the tech lab researching, sees the starport making things, so he knows that the Banshees are going to be on the way.
So he got some decent amount of harassment done there. He didn't do a whole lot of damage, but he was able to do 125 resources worth of loss to his opponent and didn't lose anything on his own. So making that many Reapers may have put him a little bit behind in whatever tech he wanted to eventually go into, but he still has him on the field, so he could be doing some good stuff with him in the future as well.
And Yoshi, I mean, doesn't feel real comfortable, I think. He's been keeping his command center in the base, but he's been using it to definitely supply the heck out of his main command center. He's mining 22 out of 24, a little bit oversaturated, but now the Hellions are going to be moving out, and that's quite a number of Hellions. And there's a decent number of Marines here, but Hellions are pretty good against Marines, especially with a bit of micro.
Absolutely they are. And it looks like, you know, HBOL is continuing just getting those Marines, getting those upgrades. He does have a starport finishing now, so it looks like he's going to continue on the same path that he was trying to do the last game. That Banshee is now moving in.
And Yoshi did not even know where his opponent was just yet, sending the Banshee to this base and a Hellion to the upper right base to see what he can get done. Just trying to stay out of range of that missile turret now, and just trying to pick off these. Oh, but the Banshee does go down, does sneak inside the detection range of that turret.
And that is a big hurt on Yoshi. He really needed to keep harassing with those. A second Banshee is coming over now, and Yoshi is pulling back these Hellions, knowing that he's going to have to play a little bit defensively in case these Reapers decide to do a little bit more harassment on his end.
Well, looks like we're going to be going into massive mech play here from Yoshi, as 2 factories and an armory going down. Going to be a total of 3 factories, 1 going down on a reactor, so we're going to have actually have a Raven out as well from that starport.
And, you know, we're seeing a very similar play out of HBOL as we saw the previous game. Also, he's making a lot of Marines, getting those medevacs on a reactor. He's getting a tech lab on his factory, however, so could be seeing some Marine tanks there.
I'm not sure what changed the mind of Yoshi. I mean, he does have this Banshee in here, but I'm not sure what he saw that made those Hellions pull back. He was heading those Hellions right towards the main base of HBOL, but he 100% decided to pull those all the way back to his main base.
Oh my goodness, HBOL was able to catch that Banshee before it took out the reactor on his barracks, so that is 2 Banshees that he's been able to pick off without the Banshee getting a whole lot done.
HBOL is pretty supply blocked right now, 78 of 78. He was 70 of 70 supply depot finish, and he immediately maxes that one out. HBOL making tanks as well, so he's not going to be going with just Marines. The shield upgrade for the Marines is about to finish, so that will help them out in the hit points tab. Now these Hellions are going to make their way back across the map as 2 full medevacs from HBOL head on over as well.
But that does leave the front gate of HBOL dangerously thin, especially with only Marines, as those Hellions are approaching. They're just kind of parked out there right now, but
Blue Flame has just started, so it is going to be a bit before that finishes, but I feel like this is what HBOL wanted to do the entire game last game, and now he has the opening because there is quite a bit of space here. I mean, there is a tank, but if he can drop right on top of the tank, that would be good, but he's going to be flying right over a turret on his current trajectory.
He is, and you know, that's just great metagame by Yoshi. He just knows where his opponent's going to be. And once again, tanks just obliterating these Marines as they fall. One of the medevacs is going to drop before getting a whole lot done. The Viking does fall. Raven is there. 2 Hellbats are dropped by a medevac, and HBOL just lifts up and gets out of there.
HBOL did a decent amount of damage there. I mean, he lost a medevac's worth of Marines, but he killed, what, 2 tanks and a Raven?
Mm-hmm. And a Viking.
and a Viking. So, I mean, definitely a good drop there, and, you know, lets his opponent know he's there. Yep. And keeps everybody on their toes, and more Vikings coming out for Yoshi as well. I mean, does not want to get dropped again. Blue Flame is about to finish. Those Hellions, you know, again, they're going to need a tire rotation here pretty soon. They've been driving around the map so much. They have headed back to the main base of Yoshi once again. Just kind of went and parked outside of HBOL's base a little bit, maybe just to stop a Marine move out potentially, but then coming on back.
HBOL does have that tank parked out front, which was able to defer those Hellions before, and that's you know, a little bit of a deviation from the last game. I think that he feels very comfortable on this map, though. As we've been noting, he's finding more locations where he's able to drop if he chooses to, and feels just more comfortable spreading out his units than he did seemingly in the last game. So we'll see if he's able to monopolize on that and pull out a win because of it.
Yeah, Yoshi does have a medevac here with 2 Hellbats in it, but it's going to be taking a long trip all the way over to HBOL's base. And HBOL is smartly putting down a sensor tower here right outside the what would be the 3rd base. This is going to cover a lot of real estate as far as knowing when drops are going to be coming in.
It really is, and it's also going to give the illusion that there's a base there because his opponent is going to be able to see the ring of the sensor tower. Obviously, that illusion is only so useful for so long.
I mean, Yoshi's going to be knowing what's up here pretty soon as he flies directly over it.
Yoshi's Hellions are chasing those Reapers across the map. They do have Blue Flame now, but the Marines rather stim forward, try and get a few hits off, are able to take off one of those Hellions, slimming their numbers briefly, but that drop from Yoshi is heading straight in. Was
able to just fly right past that turret, but there's another one there. A couple more shots does get the Hellions out, or the Hellbats, and doing so much damage again. Those SCVs kind of getting shoved up against that turret there.
And that has been an incredibly lucrative play for Yoshi, is just dropping those Hellbats in there, killing a lot of workers, pulling a lot of SCVs off the line, and so yeah, he's able to get some decent damage done that way. But now it looks like HBOL is actually double expanding here.
Yeah, thanks Aged Super Dave for posting that link to the bracket in chat. There is an error on the losers bracket, but it's not of any huge consequence. There is another drop coming in, but he's going to get most of the Marines unloaded. And now Stim Up and the Hellions with the Blue Flame are going to be doing a lot of damage against those Marines. Man, that is just, whew, that's it's getting hot.
Yeah, you know, and Yoshi's kind of getting into a mass of units that's going to be very hard for HBOL to attack into. Again, he's just going Marine medevac for the most part. He's got a couple of tanks. He's got a few Marauders back at home. But once again, Yoshi has this very diverse group of units. He's got Vikings, he's got Siege Tanks, he's got Hellions, he's got Hellbats, you know, and so when all you're doing is Marine medevac, you're going to have a harder time against a more diverse unit composition such as that, especially when you've got so many Hellions that are so effective against light units like Marines are.
Yeah. Question in chat, Stratosphere, the finals going to be today or tomorrow? The finals are going to be tomorrow. We go live at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. As all these Hellions are going to come in and catch these Marines. Oh, wait.
Both
no, actually, the
players
Marines catching the Hellions off guard a bit there. That could have been a lot of dead Marines.
It definitely could have. It looked like Yoshi pulled back about half of them, but those Hellions are continuing to move forward. They're going to wrap around and eventually get back into HBOL's base, I'm sure.
HBOL really, I mean, he's definitely a player that likes to drop, and he feels very hindered because Yoshi is a player that is good at defending the drop.
It definitely seems that way, and Yoshi seems to be one of those players who plays very defensively and does the slow Terran crawl across the map, you know, sieging up, pushing forward, unsieging, moving forward, you know, kind of leapfrogging to a certain extent into a very hard to attack into position. These Hellions are moving forward, but there are Marines and medevacs there to take care of it.
And this group of bio units over here are going to be moving into a fairly undefended place. I mean, well, I guess there's a planetary fortress and a tank, so I guess it's pretty well defended. But, oh, moving into all these Hellions here, and the Hellbats here, and those Marines just evaporated, and the Vikings going to come in and clean up those medevacs saying no thanks, and now he's going to come in here and be greeted by a tank and a planetary fortress. Not going to get a lot done here. There are a decent
number of Marauders, though, but those SCVs are on top of the repair. Is he going to stim again? He does end up getting it despite the repair on those SCVs, so that's a big win for HBOL, and he's happy with that. He's going to run right on out.
I'm actually really surprised how few units he lost there, considering he stimmed twice and was in tank fire and planetary fortress fire. So that was a surprisingly good engagement for HBOL.
Well, you know, he did that two-pronged attack. He had the Marines on the left side, which got caught a little bit off guard, but he was able to recover and kill a decent number of Hellions before they all died, and then engaged with the ones on the right, stimming it enough to be able to kill that that base there. And but Yoshi is right away landing another orbital command. He's building a command center right next to it and likely to turn that into a planetary fortress. So he is not wasting any time getting that economic advantage back.
Yeah, but HBOL still, you know, going pretty heavy into the bio. He does only have +1/+1 though. Last game he had a bit of an upgrade advantage there for a while, falling a little bit behind now as the attack for the tanks and other mech things is upgraded at +2 and the armor is at +1. So this bio is not going to be faring very well running into those.
And vehicle weapons is just about to finish in about 5 seconds, so he's going to have a huge upgrade advantage.
The Corvid, Corvid reactor. Hey, that's an upgrade you don't see very much. Raven energy upgrade, so those Ravens will be coming out with a lot more energy as he's going to be producing. That is definitely a unit I like to see a lot that we don't see very much.
No, I mean, they are definitely require a decent amount of micro to be able to use, but they can be extremely effective if you know how to use them.
Yeah, so HBOL trying to do another two-pronged attack here. Unfortunately, he doesn't have any medevacs in his units. I mean, I think he knows that he's seen how many Vikings that his opponent has, and he's just saying, okay, you know what? If I'm going in for this attack, I'm just knowing I'm going to lose all this stuff, and if I send medevacs in, I'm just going to lose those anyway. But almost kind of pulling a juke here as he...
Oh, and those tanks unsiege as HBOL moves in. That was kind of a misstep there, but there are so many tanks, it doesn't even matter. Yeah. All of those units get obliterated.
Planetary Fortress just being converted there. The rebuilt expansion is a... what do you call it?
Planetary Fortress? Orbital Command?
Orbital Command, wow.
There you go.
The words escape me here, but he is kind of walking. Wow, that's actually a really goofy waypoint there. Walking his units directly inside the ring of the sensor tower there.
But Yoshi is expanding on every side of the map here, which actually, you know, is kind of a weird places to expand, considering that his army isn't the most mobile. I mean, he's got the Hellions, he's got the Hellbats, and Vikings are fairly mobile, but those tanks are kind of, you know, immobile for the most part.
Yeah, so I'm wondering how this is going to go down, because right now HBOL is looking, both players are at 200, so they have the armies they're going to have, and there's going to have to be a big engagement here at some point. HBOL does have 3 medevacs here. He's dropping these down and senses that this area is going to be the weakest, but honestly it's looking pretty good. I mean, he's putting down 2 additional command centers and a turret, and he's got some tanks behind it, so he's making a nice little wall for these tanks to hide behind. He knows HBOL wants to take that out.
And Yoshi is just playing so extremely, you know, defensive here. He's got all his bases covered. Meanwhile, the Hellions are moving into HBOL's base. He just doesn't have the same kind of infrastructure that Yoshi does to be able to defend against this. Yoshi's able to shut down attacks like that before they happen because he cuts off choke points, because he has the vision where he needs it to have, and sees the attack paths, covers them, and that makes it extremely difficult for HBOL to attack in there.
And to be quite honest, I mean, HBOL has to move a large number of his forces around to defend these kind of attacks when Yoshi at the moment can just, you know, like this here, you can make a wall of command centers, given that he's got the money, and just put even a single tank behind it can defend a couple medevacs worth of units. And HBOL actually does have a couple medevac worth of units here that he hasn't been using, but he can't really go anywhere with them because attacking into here is not going to get anywhere. And there are a good number of turrets on the cliff of the natural expansion here, but it looks like HBOL wants to make a move here.
And Hellions are able to spot that. I mean, it is good that he's started to add these siege tanks, but he's just at such an upgrade disadvantage at this point. He's only got 2-2 as opposed to the 3-2 for the mech units of his opponent, and his opponent's going all mech.
Yeah, I'd really be in favor of what HBOL is doing here if he had the upgrade advantage, but because he is behind me, he does have 3-3 just started, actually.
He's getting his vehicle weapons level 1 as well, so he is coming along in that way, but I just don't know if he's going to have the time to be able to get it. His opponent is I mean, he's attacking with SCVs at this point.
Yeah, I noticed that HBOL does have had this group of units back here a bit, but now he's going to move those in. He's going to get some damage done on these command centers a little bit, but he's going to lift those off, send the Hellions in. Those are going to do quite a bit of damage to that Bioforce, but moving up the planetary fortress, getting massive amounts of damage done on this small hit force, and he's going to just fly on out of there.
Yeah, I mean, Yoshi lifting up that command center, he says, here's a path, go ahead and take it, and then all the tanks launch volleys at the units that are running through there.
Oh, but a large number of tanks here unsieged, but...
HBOL is not attacking there.
HBOL, yeah, not attacking into those tanks, going for the command center planetary fortress, but now the tank volley's doing so much damage. Yeah,
and a lot of this unit is, these units are getting cleaned up here. HBOL is not going to get out with anything, and suddenly the food differential is staggering. And Yoshi is just attacking with SCVs at this point.
Yeah,
he's trying to free up some food.
We've got an SCV counterattack here, trying to take out the tower. But I mean, you know, if you look at the mini-map, it's clearly in favor of Yoshi now, as he's got a couple extra bases, and he's really expanding outwards too, which is interesting for a mech player like this, because it's really hard to move around to defend. But so far at this point, HBOL has not discovered these outward-reaching bases. I mean, he does have these paths fairly covered here, at least from coming in, and he's got Yoshi actually has a group of SCVs just kind of hanging out in the middle of the map here.
It looks like HBOL is actually beginning to mirror his opponent's build. He's getting Marauders, tanks, Vikings, and Ravens.
3-3 on the bio is about to finish, and he is getting the upgrade for the
auto turrets.
Auto turrets, durable materials coming in. Now Yoshi just sacking some SCVs to get some more food space to make more units. I mean, he does have a big bank, and he's got so many orbital commands.
Exactly.
He doesn't get to the point where he doesn't need SCVs.
You just have the SCVs to kind of build a few buildings here and there, mine your gas, and just mule the heck out of any base that you want to take. Yeah. I mean, look at it. He just can scan everywhere. He can know everything that's going on at any point in the game.
And now Yoshi moving out here with only tanks for the most part, and he does have his Raven Viking force on the bottom, and he's going to run right into this small bio army of HBOL. Oh, and HBOL stims right into it. He's trying to catch the tanks before they siege.
He was not really able to get the correct concave on there that he would have liked, and those tanks do get sieged up. Now Yoshi just building turrets in front of this as he's attacking forward, and this is that slow push that we were talking about. You know, Yoshi got the composition that he wanted.
Oh, those tanks. And all of the bio just exploding right there.
Absolutely, you know, I don't know what HBOL, I don't know how he deals with this besides just trying to counterattack and slowly push his opponent back, but I mean, Yoshi continues to move forward. Now he has a Hellion on the high ground, which is doing some damage in the top, or in the natural base, or the third base rather.
Yeah, the issue for HBOL right now is that he's he's coming a little bit too late into the Raven Viking area, because there's so many more upgrades for Yoshi that he's just having to play catch up, honestly, going to that. And you know, but also at the same time, you can't stick with the bio, because the bio is not going to hold up against all these tanks.
They really aren't. And that Viking count is staggering. He's going to have a really hard time trying to go toe-to-toe with that. There are 5 Ravens that have a decent amount of energy on them, so they are quite utilitous at the moment.
I'd be interested to see how it would go if these Ravens just kind of dive in here and put some auto turrets down on those tanks. But Siege Wars coming in here. Vision being, nice
point defense drones.
Hunter Seeker missile is out. Is it going to get a hit? It does not look like it.
Right on that Raven of HBOL, though, or the Viking rather, he hasn't really moved it. Now, decent hit with those Hunter Seeker missiles. The Vikings for Yoshi are moving forward, and so much of HBOL's units are being taken out. The tanks have fallen. Yoshi able to continue to push forward. The Ravens are now falling.
Yeah, some Marines do get underneath these these Vikings, but the Marines also having some trouble with the tanks and auto turrets that are put down. Yoshi asserting his commanding lead that he has in this game right now.
Yeah, he is just doing, again, that slow push. He's moving forward. He's just taking territory as he sees fit in this slow-moving Terran way. HBOL has a small strike force of Marines that he's trying to run around, trying to do any damage that he can while trying to defend against this back at home.
All the scans going down to see what's going on, and there's a small group of Marines here from HBOL, but HBOL is in big trouble.
Does put down a Hunter Seeker missile on one of the Vikings of Yoshi, but it wasn't really in range to do any splash damage to any other unit, and doesn't end up killing the Vikings, so not the most effective use of it. But I mean, at this point, what do you even do?
Scans going down everywhere. I mean, if we look at the
mean, Yoshi just wants to know what's going on everywhere.
Yeah, if we look at the structure tab, trying to see how many orbital commands he has, it looks like 5 planetary fortress, 4 command centers, and 7 orbital commands. So all the bases.
Yes.
Now HBOL is attacking into these orbital commands here with some Marines. You know, Yoshi just kind of not even responding to it because he's still in the process of moving up here. He is sacking in all the SCVs.
And again, I mean, this is what we were talking about. He's just kind of freeing up food at this point.
Here comes a Hunter-Seeker missile on one of those Vikings. All the Marines are going to move right underneath it.
Luckily, he does. Ooh, 2 of them go off on those Vikings, but luckily those Marines were able to get out of the way. But they do run immediately into tank volleys, so not quite as lucky as they would have liked.
I thought those Marines were going to be right under that Viking as that Hunter-Seeker missile went off.
It looks like HBOL has been trying to move into battle cruisers. He does have 1 on the field, it looks like. Yeah, 1 on the field. He does have the fusion core, but you know, it's just this aggression is not really allowing him the time that he would need to get that kind of composition going at the moment.
Yeah, soon I think we're going to see a GG from HBOL. I mean, the food is 71 to 200 right now. Hunter-Seeker missiles going out on that tank.
And he's just doing it to his own units at this point. He's sacrificing units to swing in and do the splash damage.
GG, well played from HBOL. So Yoshi is going to win this series 2-0. Definitely some good TVTs. You know, like you said, it's definitely an interesting matchup these days. HBOL played it very differently than Yoshi. Both had their merits, and it was a very good game, and it's been a pleasure casting both these people.
Yes, that is true, but unfortunately, sadly, we do have to say goodbye to HBOL. That is the loser bracket, so that is the last showing that we will see from him. Yoshi does move forward, and he will compete against the winner of the next match, and I believe that's going to be Spider Slayer versus...
Depends on who won that game.
Yeah, we haven't. There was a game going on while we were casting this one, I believe, so we will get back to you as to who the opponent of Spider Slayer is going to be.
We're going to try and get an interview here with Yoshi real quick, and we'll be able to give you the update about that at that time, and then we're going to get the next match underway.
Absolutely. Stay with us.
Be right back.